Joe West was the #1 trending topic in the U.S. The Cowboy was behind the plate at Wrigley for all 18 innings of the Yankees and Cubs. Now, don't concern yourself with the first 8.5 innings. Pick it up when it gets good. Bottom 9, Aroldis Chapman on for the saves against his former mates. Cubs trailing 4-1. First and second for Albert Almora Jr. into center. Addison Russell scores from second. Okay, it's 4-2. But a 3-run lead with Chapman on, it's like automatic, like money in the bank. Javier Baez singles by Didi Gregorius. John Jay scores. It's still 4-3. There's one out. Intentional walk to Chris Bryant. Anthony Rizzo steps up, and Chapman hits him. HBP. That's how Almora Jr. scores to tie the game. Chapman is out. Chappie. The first 3-run blown save for him since 2012. Top of the 12th now. Chase Headley. Foul ball down the left field line. Kyle Schwarber makes the grab.
Jeter-esque.
According to the advanced metrics, Schwarber's been one of the worst left fielders in the majors. But not on this play. What a grab.
Nice.
There's no padding there. All brick and mortar.
Oh, scrape, scrape, scrape. Oh, my belly.
Rizzo and the fans enjoying it. And we would continue on. Give me some more baseball. We say we go to the 14th. Runner on first. Here's Jake Arrieta. Grabs a bat. What's he gonna? Are they still selling beer in the 14th arena?
No, we're not. Smuggled in.
That's an old beer. Stale.
Helicoptered in.
Arrieta strikes out. Over 500 pitches were thrown in the game. A fresh set of baseballs needed. Somebody rub those up with that mud they use. Bottom 16. Still tied at 4. 1 on and 2 outs. Chasen Shreve had himself a game. He strikes out John Lackey. 43rd strikeout of the game. Ties the big league record for most strikeouts in a single game. That ended the 16th. It's the first ever Sunday night baseball game on ESPN to go 17. Pedro Strop gets Austin Romine. 44th K of the game. Sets the new record. In the 18th, Aaron Hicks lays it down, beats the throw. He'll go to second on a throwing error by Wilson Contreras. 2 batters later, runner on third. Starlin Castro. Ground ball to short. Addison Russell's throw home is offline, and Hicks comes in to score. The Yanks go up 5-4. We go bottom 18. One at reach, then an intentional walk. To the tying runs on second. Kyle Hendricks, a pinch hitter. And Chasen Shreve gets him. That's how the Yanks sweep. Late night buster with Castro.
Starlin, what was this game like to play in?
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. You know, good team plays. We not scored wrong. 18 inning. You know, I think that's the longest game that I play.
What was it like to play in that?
Oh, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty fun, you know. I go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I think it's a great. The best thing is we won that game.
You and the Cubs set a record for total strikeouts in a game. What do you think?
Wow, it's unbelievable. You know, I think that's a game that's gonna be in the people memory for so many years.
Yeah, so it was a long game. Lasted over 6 hours. 48 strikeouts total, as Buster said, the most in a game in Major League Baseball history. Get this, no hitter has struck out 48 times this season. Joey Gallo leads with 47. First interleague game to go 18. And according to our friends at Elias, the longest game in Sunday night baseball history, both innings and time, a manageable 6 hours, 5 minutes total. And now to the NBA playoffs. The Spurs and Rockets, Game 4. James Harden and Houston trying to get even against Kawhi Leonard and San Antonio. Patrick Beverley playing with a heavy heart as his grandfather passed away. Special moment for him. First points of the game belong to Beverley. Raises his hand up after he makes the basket. Tough moment here for the Rockets. Jonathan Simmons the drive. He's fouled by Nene. After the foul, starts limping, goes to the bench, had to leave the game. Groin injury. Would head to the hospital to get it checked out. Did not return. Harden and Leonard, they were leading their teams in the first half, as you might expect. Here's Harden. all by himself. He had 14.7 assists in that first half. Then Leonard, over a screen, hits the bucket, and he's fouled. That's a page out of Harden's playbook. Leonard, 14 points, 4 assists in the first half. Let's go to the third. Rockets up 8. Harden doing that little thing against LaMarcus Aldridge. Sticks a 3 right in his face. That's awkward and uncomfortable, and brilliant talent from Harden. And then later, another scary moment for Houston. Harden collides with Patty Mills, knee on knee. He'd be able to walk it off, come out of the timeout, and then I guess the knee's fine. Falling back, fadeaway 3 over Pau Gasol. And then Harden, when he misses, it's even okay because Beverly has the board. Harden the kick to Eric Gordon. Get everybody involved. Rockets went on a 22-6 run in the third quarter. It's the NBA playoffs, and everybody makes a run. Rockets up 12. Harden over Simmons. And then in the closing seconds of the quarter, Harden to Ryan Anderson. Everyone involved. Rockets up 15 after 3. Let's go to the fourth now. Really more of the same. Houston by 15. And it's Gordon from 3 land. He had 22, and Harden enjoying it from the bench, and then says, get me back in the game. Put me back in. I got more 3s left in me. Harden had 28 and 12. Rockets win 125-104 to even the series. Here's James with the mindset heading in.
I just try to, like I said, play with pace. Once we got stops, just be aggressive, and whether it's getting to the basket or, making an open pass. But I think, my body movement was key. Just pushing the ball. But the whole purpose of that was just to get stops. We got stops and we were out.
We'll stress it the whole game. We'd love to have a tempo the whole game. Probably is not realistic, but we'll keep pushing them because that's what we do, and that's how we get 3s. And that's no matter what scheme they have defensively, you don't have a scheme in transition. You just have get back guys, and so we have to take advantage of that. And that's where we're good.
Our Bible begins with transition defense, and if it's not there, then we're just not ready to go. But if you would have seen the clips of our transition D, you would have traded all the players and fired me by the end of the game. So it was that bad. But they were that intense, and they were that focused, and they were that professional, and we were not.
Here's a look now inside the Rockets' run at the beginning of the third quarter. Rockets were up by 2 at the start of the run, and when it was all said and done with, they were up by 18. Spurs missed all 5 of their 3s during the Houston run. Rockets at 6 of 9 from deep. We welcome Stephen A. Smith now to this fine television program. Look, it wasn't the Wizards' third quarter, but the Rockets had them a good third quarter surge, and they figured out their 3-point shooting, and that would appear to be at least one of the keys to this game. What do you think? The series all even now?
Well, it's all even because when the Rockets are hitting 3s, they win. When they're not, they lose. Tonight, you got 22 points from Eric Gordon off the bench. You had Louis Williams giving you 13 points. There was a Ryan Anderson sighting. He showed up. Trevor Ariza hit some shots as well and made a contribution. And James Harden was stellar, pretty much as he usually is. Not against Kawhi Leonard, because going against a defensive player of the year like Kawhi Leonard is always tough for anybody, especially for James Harden. But nevertheless, he still was very, very effective with everybody else. So when you look at the Houston Rockets, again, they hit 22 of 50 3-point shots in Game 1. They had 19 of 43 in Game 4. That means they're getting shots in three-point shots because they're pushing the ball up the floor. They're getting shots in transition. They're beating San Antonio up the floor and enabling themselves to get shots before San Antonio can get its defense set. And that's how you beat the Spurs if you're the Houston Rockets. If you get in the half-court sets because you're not pushing the ball up the floor and you're not rebounding, you're going to play right into San Antonio's hands because they're exceptionally well coached. They know how to play together, and Houston isn't the greatest half-court team in the world. They have athletes. They've got guys who can shoot. They've got a superstar in James Harden, but their half-court offense is nothing to brag home about. San Antonio knows that, which is why they should prioritize getting back on defense more.
Stephen, along those lines, on Tuesday night in San Antonio, do the Rockets break 100 points? Because that seems to be their magic number. That's their formula. They go over 100 like they did in this one with a $125. They win the game. What about Tuesday night?
It depends on how bad they want it. I mean, the fact is that they won Game 1, didn't look like themselves in Game 2, blew a lead in Game 3. These are the kind of things that they've got to avoid doing. They've got to show up and go for the jugular. It's 2-2. If you win game 5, you come back to Houston with an opportunity to close San Antonio out as opposed to going back to San Antonio for a game 7. If you are these guys, you've got to know the importance of that. You've got to take the bull by the horn and really, really go for it. If they come out like that and they're determined and hell-bent on doing just that, recognizing they're also playing with house money, because you can still go back to Houston for game 6. This is not the end. You can put San Antonio on its heels and make sure they understand they're the ones under immense pressure instead of yourself. But if you're lackadaisical or you're lacking focus, it will cost you. It depends on which Rockets team shows up. They hit shots, they win. They don't hit three-pointers, they lose. It's that simple to me.
It does appear to be that simple. Nothing else is as black and white as that is. Stephen A. Smith will join us later in SportsCenter with much more on the NBA playoffs. We mentioned earlier, Rockets guard Patrick Beverley played Sunday's Game 4 with a heavy heart after his grandfather had passed away. Motioned upwards after making his first shot of the game. He was consoled by teammates following the contest. He was emotional, as you might expect, speaking to the media afterwards.
And I try to go out there and play as hard as I could for my teammates tonight, man. And it's just tough. I had to be there for my grandmother. I mean, that's the only man she knew for the last 26 years. I had to be there for my mom. I had to be there for my cousins back home in Chicago. It's just tough, man. It's tough. It's so tough, man, because everybody know I work so extremely hard to prove myself each and every night, and to have somebody that was right there support me the whole way. Wore my jerseys every single day of his life. Wore my Russian jerseys every single day of his life, man. To have a person like that, man, just been taken from you is hard. It's so hard, but it's a bigger plan. And I'm gonna keep my faith, of course, and I'm gonna be there for my family. But anyone who has grandparents, mothers, whatever, to have them taken away from you is super, super hard.
The NBA playoffs stopped for no one. Life moves on. We saw it with Isaiah Thomas, the passing away of his sister, and come back with a big game. And Beverly showed his family name well also by playing with this heavy heart and playing an outstanding game in a Rockets victory.
Yeah, I like him a lot. He's an emotional guy. That's my kind of guy. He'll be a great coach, great TV guy when he's done. And that's really – I never had a close relationship with my grandparents. I live far away, and it must be really a different, special kind of relationship. Did you have a close one with your grandparents?
Yes, close with 3 of them. I loved what he said also. I got to be there for my grandmother.
Right.
Because the grandfather's the only man she's ever known. So that was kind of insane.
Meanwhile, Cleveland Cavaliers became just the 3rd defending champion ever to win their first 8 playoff games. They took care of business on Sunday. 2001 Lakers went on to win the final. 89 Lakers lost to the Pistons in the finals. How about the Cavs after winning their first 8? Well, here's how they did it. Not vroom vroom, John Anderson. Broom broom. Cavs some. LeBron, boy, he is playing maybe the best basketball of his career. NBA record in potential series clinching games. Michael Jordan 30-13, LeBron 30-9. Got the late call there. As you can see, Ibaka clearly with the left arm on the hip, the right arm around his right pec. LeBron eventually got the call and the and one. He'd make the free throw. Ties the game early. 11 of 22 from the floor. 5 of 12 shooting threes. 8 of 9 from the free throw line. 6 assists. Had a block shot. 35 points or more in all 4 games of the series. Fourth quarter, Kyrie took over. Wasn't real good for most of the game. And so you see, Toronto has the lead with 6:15 to go. And then Kyrie goes nuts. He went on an 11-0 run. Finished with 27 points and had 9 assists as well to lead the Cavaliers. LeBron had good things to say about Irving's run after the game.
Once you put the talent and then the experience and then the mind, you really start to see what he's capable of doing. And the habits that he's built over the last 3 years have put him in a position where you can always rely on him no matter no matter what's going on.
Cavs pulled away late. LeBron, as I mentioned, was 5 of 12 shooting threes. Cavaliers are building a good bench as well. Korver 4 of 6. Fry 2 of 3 from 3 off the bench. Even Darren Williams popped one in, but it really was all about LeBron. 35 points. Another sweep.
You know, it's never satisfying. You know, I think once I'm done, I can have a long conversation about how satisfied I was with this series or that guy or whatever the case may be. But as I'm in the midst of it, it's not satisfying, but it is rewarding when you can advance. I mean, it's not you know, just given to you. You have to go out and earn it. And once again, I'm part of a team that's been able to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals, and it's going to be my 9th time in 14 years. So I'll take those numbers.
Not really a fair fight. The Cavs dominate because LeBron dominates. According to Elias, he's the first player in NBA postseason history to score at least 35 points in every game of a 4-game sweep. Kyrie, again, his main distributor. Team high 9 assists in Game 4. For the series, averaged 8.5 per game, easily his most ever in a single series. Cavs have now won their last 11 playoff games, going back to Game 5 of last year's final. Remember, down 3-1, win the final, 2 straight sweeps. 11 straight playoff games they have won, first time since the 0-1 Lakers.
We got to give them credit, man. They're a hell of a team for a reason. You know, they got one of the greatest players of all time. You know, it's on us to be able to, you know, let this sink in and understand we got to come back extremely better. If we had LeBron on our team too, we would have won. You know, we could say that. We could say that all day, time, everything, but, you know, we didn't. You know, it happened. You know, we got swept. And, you know, it's going to be one of them long summers for us.
No Kyle Lowry, no chance. Cavaliers seem to be on a collision course with the Warriors in the finals. Both teams undefeated so far in the postseason. Cavs actually scoring a little more per game than Golden State. Dubs have won by over 15 points per game, however. Cavs have won by an average of 9.6. Cleveland shooting much better from 3. They lead all playoff teams in 3-point field goal percentage. I mentioned Korver was 4 of 6 off the bench on Sunday. Warriors, they're just shooting 34% from 3. Skinny Love by Eau Claire or Wisconsin's Justin Vernon might be Bon Iver's finest construction. I asked Twitter that question on Sunday, and 55% of you said yes, it was. You know who else is feeling skinny love? Boston Red Sox fans. A thin mint. Chris Sale's starts have become Roger Clemens' Pedro Martinez events for Nation fans. Like Pedro, Sale works fast and filthy. And the giant ectomorph should be 5-0 entering Sunday's start in Minnesota. Instead, a lack of run support had Sale at 1-2 for a 1-loss record. 10 strikeouts in each of his last 5 starts. That's tied with Pedro for a Red Sox record.
It's special. You know, I don't put a whole lot of weight in those kind of things, numbers, stats, that kind of stuff. But when you're talking about him, it's special.
And by him, he means Pedro. Off to a good start. Again, I mentioned he works fast and filthy. 8 strikeouts through 4, and the Red Sox actually got him some run support in this game. So things were looking real good. However, in a jam in the 5th. But gets Escobar there. 9 strikeouts. Looking for that magic number 10 again. There it is. 6 innings, 4 earned. Not his best effort, but 6 straight games with 10 Ks. A bit of a command issue, but in the end, his boys scored plenty of runs for Chris Sale. He deserved it. He's been pitching outstanding all-star game starter stuff. So another one. He's up to 73 punch-outs this season in his first 7 starts with the Red Sox. That's the most strikeouts in a pitcher's first 7 starts with a new team since the mound was moved to its current distance in 1893. The only other guy to get 70 is Randy Johnson, who struck out 71 in his first 7 starts with the D-backs in 99, and he did it the year before in his first 7 starts with the Houston Astros.
Oh, by the way, the Red Sox bats exploded in the 9th inning. Were people really complaining about this 9th inning went too long? There's a reason for it. Red Sox ordered with 1 run in the 9th, give an 8-6 lead. Then Mitch Moreland, a double to right, 2-run score. The Red Sox have 3 in the inning, and they were just getting started. The next batter, Chris Young. A double to right. 2 more runs coming to score. So that's 5 pairs of Red Sox, if you will. Talk about adding on insurance runs after a pitching change. Sandy Leon get out of town. Second of the game, 4th of the year. Red Sox 7 in the inning. They still weren't done. Xander Bogaerts batting with first and third down the right field line. Robbie Grossman can't get there, we'll say. And the ball goes rolling in the right. Bogaerts ends up with a triple. Red Sox with 9 runs, finished with 10. They scored 3 more runs in the 9th. They did the previous 8 innings combined. Same number of extra base hits. The Red Sox win 17-6. Do the outfield dance. As for their basketball neighbors, the Celtics, not so much. Got their doors blown off by the Wizards in D.C. Michael Wilbon will join us next on the one and only ESPN SportsCenter.